figures that I've got in front of me, I know that there's over 3,100 voting districts that have been declared. Please remember that there are 23,000 or almost 23,000 voting districts in South Africa. So we've got a long way to go in the counting process. But a picture is emerging, and that is the picture that we're presenting to you, with the ANC still sitting well ahead, 52.76% of the vote, the DA 28.34% of the vote, and the EFF 7.49%. And we were chatting to the CSIR a bit earlier, and one of the big things they're saying is the smallest party, you know, we talk about the smaller parties and those that are contesting for the very first time, the one that's making the most significant move in this election so far is the Good Party. So that's an interesting one to be looking out for. There, we've got a big screen there, of course, they're coming from the Rock. Those are the national results so far. You can see how the parties are doing in those national elections, and then we break it down, of course, into the provinces. And the provinces is exactly where we're going to go to now. We've got Iviwe Poti, she's standing by in Stutterheim. And I think Stutterheim, having about 48,000 residents there living in the area. Not sure how things are looking, though, but I can see that you're standing outside the Independent Electoral Commission offices. Iviwe, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you too, and the viewers, Leanne.
Counting obviously underway in these elections, things going quite smoothly yesterday during the elections. Give us your take on how things went.
Definitely, in terms of Stutterheim, when you look at Amahlathi actually as a whole, the municipality, you know, in the town centres, it looked very calm, very peaceful, and as well as the townships. You'll remember, though, that this was an area that was affected by violent protest towards the end of last year. So one would have thought that, you know, maybe you might have seen more picketing or protest, but community members did have a meeting the day before we had elections, which was on Tuesday, you know, just to say, you know what, we are taking a conscious decision to actually go to the voting stations and make our mark. We were in an area, rural area, yesterday as well, where we had a community split into two, half of the community trying to keep the IEC out. So there was a bit of a delay there. I think voting started about 12 o'clock, you know, saying that for the past 25 years, they don't even have basic service delivery. They don't have water, they don't have electricity. So, and the school that they had was closed earlier on this year around February. So they were saying in terms of service delivery, they don't even know why they're voting because it feels like they don't exist. That's the only incident that I can think of here in the Amahlathi municipality. Otherwise, in terms of all of the other areas, everything was running smoothly. Earlier on in the morning, we saw, you know, large numbers of people coming out to try and cast their vote. But as the special votes, you know, most of the centres were done pretty early, but obviously closed at 9 o'clock because that was the closing time. But as you can see here behind us, it seems like, you know, a number of people are coming in to also capture those numbers that they were counting at the various voting stations.
Iviwe, thank you very much for the update coming from the Eastern Cape, and we'll continue to get more reports from some of our reporters that are stationed around the country at the different IEC centres that are coming in. Also, quite an interesting prediction coming from the CSIR. There are lots of interesting ones, and I keep talking to the CSIR because the CSIR and the SABC have worked on a partnership for 20 years now, and the CSIR are quite accurate in their results, so we'll see how they do this particular election. But one thing they are saying, that in the city of Cape Town, in the Cape Metropole, we're seeing a lot of votes not necessarily going the way they used to go towards the DA. It seems that, as I mentioned previously, a Good Party making inroads, and they're also predicting that the ANC might get 5% extra in the Western Cape due to the city of Cape Town voters. So this will be interesting to watch and see, and we'll continue to monitor these results as they come in. We take a break. See you after this.